So today we are going to see the Niedzica Zamek. Me and my aunt are hiking there right now, and we figured why not show you guys one of the oldest piece of history in Poland. I'll definitely be doing like a little voiceover with a little history lesson, so make sure you guys stick around. This is Niedzica Zamek, so I'm so excited to show you. I used to spend a lot of time here as a kid as well. If you guys see anything flapping, it's just my magnetic eyelashes. I don't know why I'm doing like so much makeup here, but like I feel like I just need to look like a person in these vlogs because I always look like a mess. So I attached these. People probably think I'm like really weird for doing a full face of makeup in the country, but it's all right. So Niedzica Zamek, or the Niedzica Castle, is actually the name of a village, and it's named after the castle that is located here. I live about 10 minutes away from here, and we have family that lives down the street we're walking on. My mom is just catching up with my aunts, and I wanted to go on an adventure and show you guys around because this piece of history is also really cool. So this castle is a really special one because there's so many legends that surround its topic. There is the actual truth, and then there is the old tales and the stories that have been told. So I'll just give you both, but I wanted to start with the legends because those are obviously the more fun ones in my opinion. So the first one is that there was a prince named Bolesław that had a wife named Brunhilda, and Brunhilda loved to spend money and throw lavish parties at the castle, but the prince did not. He was very frugal and always wanted to, save every single penny, but they would always fight about it constantly. So one day they were fighting and the prince accidentally pushed the princess over the edge and she fell down into a well that is in the castle. The prince was really regretful what he did, and every day he would go to the well and he would ask the princess for forgiveness, and he would whisper into the well. He would be like, "Forgive me, Brunhilde, I have wronged you." And one day he heard her talk back and she said to him, "I forgive you, my bold Bolesław." But here's the kicker. He wasn't bald. He actually had a full head of hair. So he was like really confused. But the next day, the legend says that he woke up bald. So he lost all of his hair. So the legend is that if you whisper your beloved girl's name into the well and you have wronged her, you will wake up bald the next day. So there's also another story that is really interesting as well. So this story is about a hidden treasure that is in the castle and it belongs to the Incan princess. So there's some truth to this story, but it's also like crazy to me how a treasure from South America ends up in the south of Poland. So this is really interesting to think about, and let's get into the story. So there was this guy, his name was Sebastian Brzewicz, and he was a Hungarian nobleman who found himself in South America. When he was there, he fell in love with an Incan woman and they had a daughter. His daughter, named Umina, ended up marrying the leader of the tribe and she became a princess. But when her husband's power collapsed during his fight against the Spanish uprising, they were forced to flee and they fled to Italy. So when they were fleeing, they took with them king's treasure, but most of it is said to have sunk to the bottom of Lake Titicaca. Bad fate was always following them around, and his daughter's husband ended up getting murdered. So Sebastian, his daughter, and now her newborn son, Uncas, found shelter in the Niedzica castle, and they were welcomed in by the Paloche family. One day when Sebastian was out, attackers raided the castle and they were looking for the treasure and the baby. So Umina's son, Uncas, was the heir to the treasure. And when the attackers came, the servants hid the baby, and frustrated that they couldn't find the baby, the attackers killed Princess Umina. The tale says that she was buried in the castle and the treasure was buried next to her, but there's also a version that she was actually buried somewhere in the fields of Sromovce because she wasn't Catholic, so she was not allowed to be buried in the castle. But we still actually don't know where she is buried. So her son Uncas was later said to be adopted by Sebastian's nephew, and he was the only heir to the treasure. He actually wanted nothing to do with it. And in the late 20th century, his great-grandson revisited the topic and wanted to get his hands on the treasure and found two wills. So one was in Incan and was hidden in the hall by the gate to the castle. But mysteriously, when he brought the will to get translated, it went missing, and he later ended up dying in a car accident. So now it's time for some actual facts. So the castle was built between the year 1320 and 1326 and was an important center of Hungary and Poland relations. And at the time, the European map looked a little different than it does now, and that area was actually part of Hungary. So the castle was also a fort defending the northern border of Hungary. Niedzica and that part of Poland was actually given back to the Polish people during World War I and permanently after World War II. Also, the lake you guys see here is called Lake Czorsztyńskie, and it's actually man-made by two rivers, Białka and Dunajec, joining together, and it was created by building a dam to stop the villages from flooding during rainy seasons. So my grandma actually told me how when she was younger, she still had friends that lived in the valley area where the lake is, and they all had to leave due to the lake being made. And I also remember as a child in my house in Dębno when the Dunajec would start to overflow and like how scared everybody was in the village that like it's going to like flood the village, but thanks to the dam and everything, like things like that were being prevented. But this is enough for a history lesson about Niedzica, and if you are ever in Nowy Targ or Lesser Poland, this area is definitely a must to visit. So finding housing in this area is actually really easy. You can get a room at a bed and breakfast, a camping spot if you're coming with a trailer or a tent, or you can even rent a little house, and it usually is like a 2-bedroom and it's 1,000 square foot, and there really is no hotels in this area. The hotels are more towards Zakopane and Nowy Targ. Now we got hungry, so we're gonna go get some ice cream in Nowy Targ. You guys already know that this is my favorite ice cream. It's located in Nowy Targ and it's from Żarneccy. If you guys want to learn more about my trip to Poland, just make sure you guys subscribe, hit the post notification bell button on so you never miss a video from me, and check out my other vlog series on this channel.